Have you ever had a thought, a completely private, fleeting thought about a product, a distant memory, or a hobby you've never spoken out loud, only to open your phone 10 minutes later and see an advertisement for that exact thing? It feels eerie. It feels like your phone is listening to you through your microphone. But the truth is actually much more terrifying. Your phone doesn't need to listen to your voice because it has already mapped your mind. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a psychological phenomenon that is quietly altering human behavior on a global scale. We like to believe we are in control of what we watch, what we scroll through, and what we buy. We think of our digital feeds as passive entertainment. But behind the screen lies a hyper-advanced, multi-billion-dollar architecture designed to do one specific thing: exploit the vulnerabilities of human evolutionary biology. This isn't just technology. It is a psychological mirror, reflecting your deepest insecurities, desires, and habits back at you before you even realize they exist. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how your brain has been subtly rewired by the silent feed, and more importantly, how to recognize the invisible psychological traps hidden in plain sight. Let's dive in. To understand why you can't look away from your screen, we have to look at the psychology of the slot machine. In behavioral psychology, there's a concept known as variable ratio reinforcement. Back in the mid-20th century, renowned psychologist B.F. Skinner conducted an experiment. He placed pigeons in a box with a lever. In the first scenario, every time the pigeon pressed a lever, it received a pellet of food. The pigeon learned the pattern, ate when it was hungry, and ignored the lever when it was full. But then, Skinner changed the rules. He made the reward unpredictable. Sometimes the pigeon pressed the lever and got nothing. Sometimes it got a small treat. And occasionally, it hit the jackpot with a massive pile of food. The result? The pigeons became utterly obsessed. They pressed the lever continuously, ignoring sleep, grooming, and social interaction. This is the exact psychological mechanism behind the infinite scroll. When you pull down on your feed to refresh it, your brain experiences the exact same neurological spike as a gambler pulling the arm of a slot machine. You don't know if the next post will be a boring advertisement, a frustrating political take, or a hilarious video that triggers a massive wave of dopamine. It is the uncertainty that keeps you trapped. This constant state of anticipation triggers a steady drip of dopamine in your brain's reward pathway. Dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. It is a molecule of desire and anticipation. It drives the seeking behavior. The tech industry didn't just accidentally discover this. They hire behavioral scientists, neuroscientists, and psychological engineers specifically to build these feedback loops into the interface. Every double tap, every swipe, every millisecond you pause to look at a thumbnail is tracked to perfect the rhythm of your personal slot machine. But the manipulation runs far deeper than just keeping your eyes on the screen. The true power of the modern algorithm lies in its ability to create what data scientists call a behavioral replica of your identity. Every single day, you leave a trail of digital breadcrumbs. It's not just about the photos you like or the accounts you follow. The algorithm measures things you aren't even consciously aware of. It tracks the exact millisecond you pause scrolling to read a headline. It tracks how quickly you swipe away from a video, the brightness of your screen at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the subtle variations in your typing speed. When millions of these data points are fed into a machine learning model, something extraordinary happens. The system creates a digital double of you. This digital avatar doesn't just know what you like. It predicts how you will react based on human psychology. It knows your vulnerabilities. It knows when you are feeling lonely because your scrolling patterns change. It knows when you are feeling insecure about your finances or your relationships because you linger on specific types of content. This brings us back to the mystery of the mind reading advertisements. When you see an ad for something you only thought about, it's usually because the algorithm identified a hyper-specific pattern in your behavior that aligns perfectly with thousands of other users who share your exact psychological profile. If 10,000 people who share your micro-habits suddenly start buying a specific product, the algorithm will show it to you next, anticipating your desire before it even fully forms in your conscious mind. It didn't read your mind. It calculated your next thought. When an algorithm's sole metric of success is maximizing your retention, it naturally prioritizes the emotions that provoke the strongest psychological reactions. In human biology, the most powerful drivers of attention are fear, outrage, and tribalism. This creates a dangerous psychological feedback loop known as the echo chamber effect. If you linger on a video that makes you angry, the system notes that anger equals engagement. Consequently, your feed begins to shift, subtly serving you more content that validates and heightens that specific anger. Over time, your perception of reality is quietly reshaped. You begin to believe that the world is more polarized, dangerous, and divided than it actually is, because your customized window into the world has been curated to trigger your survival instincts. But the most insidious effect is how this alters our actual identity. In traditional psychology, identity formation is a slow, internal process built through real-world trial, error, and introspection. Today, identity is frequently handed to us by a feedback loop. When a young person views a specific subculture or lifestyle online, the algorithm quickly reinforces that interest, flooding their feed with matching aesthetics, viewpoints, and behaviors. The individual begins to adopt these traits in real life to match their digital mirror. The algorithm isn't just predicting who you are, it is actively shaping who you become. We are trading our authentic internal psychology for an optimized, algorithmically generated personality. So where does this leave us? We are living in an era where the human brain is constantly matched against supercomputers optimized to capture our attention. It is an unfair fight. The neural pathways that took millions of years to evolve for human survival are being hijacked for advertising revenue. The consequences of this are already visible all around us. Declining attention spans, rising levels of anxiety, a constant underlying feeling of digital fatigue, and a fractured sense of shared reality. But understanding the psychology behind the screen is your greatest offense. The moment you become aware of the mechanism, the spell begins to break. The next time you find yourself mindlessly scrolling at 2 a.m, stop and ask yourself, am I choosing to watch this, or is a machine choosing it for me? When you feel a sudden surge of outrage or anxiety from a post, recognize it as a deliberate trigger designed to keep your eyes locked to the glass. You can reclaim your attention. You can break the loop by introducing randomness into your digital behavior, deliberately skipping content the algorithm expects you to watch, taking regular digital fasts, and forcing your brain to engage with the slower, less chaotic rhythms of the real world. The silent feed only has power over you as long as it remains invisible. Once you see the gears turning behind the glass, the control returns to your hands. If you found this deep dive into digital psychology valuable, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss our upcoming investigations. Drop a comment below. Have you ever experienced a moment where your phone felt a little too predictive? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you for watching and stay mindful out there. See you in the next video.